Alright, so welcome to another video. In this one, we'll show you how to download all or single files from Salesforce using a table in Titan Web in the two variations that are covered. So let's get into it. The first variation is where I'm going to bring all the contacts, and all the contacts have files. To give you an example here, if I look at my contacts, so there are 4 of them that are linked to this account called Phoenix Candidates, and each one has a set of files. She has 3. She has 1, he has 1, and he has 1. So total we're looking at over here is 5 files that can be downloaded. So let's show you how to do this inside of Titan Web. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a lookup, and this lookup, all it's going to bring is accounts. And that's all this is doing. So account, we're good to go. Now the second one here is going to bring the table, and in that table I'm going to bring all the contacts. But the condition is that the account must equal my lookup. That is the condition. And then I'm going to bring in their full name, their account name, and then I'm going to add a button which will allow them to download their files. So we'll call download files like this. And I won't configure the button yet because we have some work to do, but I will have them set up. So I quickly want to go and sort out the button, style it like it's a button. So we go to the button, fill it out with some blue. The font can be completely white. And then I do want to give it a size, which is about 100 and then about 50. There you go, 150 by 50. There you go. Okay, so now really, if you look over here, I'll do a quick preview. In fact, I have to set that up. So 2 things I've done. First, I've set up the account lookup. So this brings all the accounts, and then the second one runs off the first one, brings all contacts from accounts lookup. And I want to add the run criteria because, as you saw, it just ran without putting any criteria, and I want to say account value is not empty, which means the lookup is not empty. That's when I want it to run. But obviously I have to assign it in the condition to say when this is not empty, then go ahead and run my Salesforce action, which will bring me all the relevant contacts. So with that in mind, let's go and play. So I'll look up Phoenix Recruiters, which is one of the accounts, and voila, all we have is now the related contacts. Now what I'd like to do is click this and have it download all the files to Alicia James or any one of them. Now, in order to do that, what I need is the hash value. That's what I need. And in order to get the hash value, I need to get the files. In order to get the files, I need to get the ID of the contact. So the first thing I want to do is create a variable. And that variable is going to be called contact ID. And what I'm going to do is when this button is clicked, download files, I'm going to pass that contact ID into that variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to affect the element. We're going to say contact ID, pass value from my table value, power table value. That's what we're going to do. That's the first aspect of it. So let's show you that in play, how it works. Preview. Have a look, debug, nothing there right now in contact ID. I'll go look up Phoenix Recruiters. And then now if I click debug here, you can see that the contact ID has been populated like this. That's pretty much good to go. Now what I wanted to do is essentially run a get afterwards based off the contact ID. So what we can do is we can go and set up a get. And what this is going to do is going to return files. That's what it's going to do. So we'll go ahead and create that. But before that, I just quickly want to create another variable. This is where we're going to capture our hash. Call it the hash value. Like this. And now we will set up our number 3. Bring hash value based of contact ID. Alright, so we're going to go to files. We're going to say user action, and we're going to say bring up to 10 files, that is. We're going to say first publish location ID equals my contact ID, and if that is true, and we do have value, bring the hash value directly in here. That's what we're going to do. So once we've done that, all we really have to do is now run the action. Now, in order to run the action, I could either assign it here, so I could say, okay, well, once you've passed it, go ahead and run the action. And then once the action is run, after the finish, go ahead and simply just do download. And we're going to choose files here. And then we're going to use hash value like that. Let's see if this works. Click apply, save, preview. Okay, first thing first, we'll do Phoenix Recruiters. And we'll use Tom. Tom is like the one example that I could use. Look at that, one file down there. Let's use Terry Doe. And then look at that, here's file. Now, Alicia has 3, so we'll do download files, and it'll be like, okay, 1, 2, and 3. It's downloaded the 3 files there. That's how you do it. It's really, really easy to do, but super fun as well. So that's how it's done. But what if I wanted to download all the files directly from here, all of them, into like a single button? Well, in that case, what you do is this. First thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you get all the contact IDs directly into some sort of variable. So we'll do custom variable, and this time we'll call it all contact ID, like that. Now, if you go into the get, the one that's running the table, which is number 1 here, what you could do is this. You could return that value directly into a field. So I'll head over to mapping here. Now, I'm not sure it will let me do it, but let's see. Or, you know what you could do? You could just set up a complete get. Don't worry about this one. So we'll create a new one. We'll call it contact. And we'll do user action. This brings all contact ID, like this. And then the condition is that the account ID equals the account ID of the lookup, like that. And then basically all contact ID, I'm bringing the contact ID, like that. That's what I'm doing. And you can run this same action from here in parallel, where we set it up in the condition. So here it is. This is the one I'm running. And then I can return that and basically bring all contact ID. And then I can run this in a parallel like this, parallel load. So if you look now, if I click save, click preview, and I do Phoenix Recruiters, look in the debug mode here. And the debug mode, we're going to look at all contact ID. It's actually only returned 1, maybe because I only set it up to return 1. Silly me. Yeah, I did. So let's set this to 10. And then let's run it again. Close, 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 close. Just 1. Phoenix Recruiters, like that. It's there. Okay, so now in the debug, you can see we've got 4 values concatenated together. Now what you can do is you can put a button like this, and you can call it download all files. Now what this will do, this is rather simple. It's going to go ahead and get the hash for everything and then run it. So same thing, you basically go into tools, custom variables, and you'll say all hash value of everything. And then what you do is you set up a get, and the get works like this. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to go next, integration, we're going to do a get, and it's going to be files, and this one is going to be bring all hash value, and it's a user action, and we want to bring all of them. Condition is going to be first published location ID in, this is where we use the in command, and then here we use all contact ID like this, and in the mapping of all hash value we want to return the hash value. So now if I click close and then I go ahead and say, okay, we'll bring all the hash value in here, this is what's going to do. So let's go ahead and test it, shall we? See if this works. So we'll look up Phoenix recruiters. First thing first, it's going to return all the hash. So you can see here, this is a long list. This is about, you won't be able to see it all in here, but this is, I reckon this is about roughly 7 values in there, 6 or 7 values, I believe, something like that. So now the next thing here is, all I've got to do is run my download, which is this, and say download files, and then use all hash value like this. So now if I click save, go in here, we'll do the refresh, do Phoenix recruiters, and then do download all files. And now look at that, 6 files it has, it's going to download for you one by one like that. Now do I recommend you do this? What if you have like 100, 200 files? It's a lot, right? So I don't recommend you do this. It depends. If the files are small enough, then fine. But if they're big, then it's going to take some time. In that case, you use a second variation where you can allow them to choose individual files but per record. So rather than showing all of them like this, you show each record up here and then show all the related files at the bottom. So let's cover the second variation, because again, it's very, very important. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this because I don't want this anymore and I want a brand new project. Alright, so here we go. So we'll do test. Let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a lookup, and that lookup is really going to be just all contacts. Okay, so this one is going to be from contacts like this. And that's that. And then I'm going to bring a table. Now in the table here, I'm going to bring all the files related to the contact. So I'm going to choose files, and I'm going to say the first published location ID equals field my lookup value, and I want to bring the file name. So we want to bring the title, and then we want to bring in a button, just to basically say download file. Now here's a cool part. Previously we had to query the hash value. In this case we won't have to because it's already available. So we can just use hash value like this. Now I've got it. Here it is. Good to go. And I'm just going to style the button again for you. Blue, font will be white. And then the size is going to be 150 by 50, like that. Okay, so first thing first, let's go ahead and fix our gets. When I say fix, we mark them up. Brings all contacts. Brings all files to that contact. And I only want it to run when my lookup is not empty. And then I'm going to write a condition here to say if this lookup is not empty, then go ahead and run a Salesforce action which will bring me all my files. Alright, let's see. So click save, click preview, and actually I should put on a debug mode so I can show it to you how it's going to work. Okay, click save, preview, and then let's look up Alicia because I know she has multiple records. Okay, so we've got Alicia here, and if you look in the debug mode here, you can see that the value that I'm pulling in is the hash for each one. So it's actually a relatively simple step from here. All I've really got to do is assign the download, which to say, go ahead and basically, first thing first is I've got to pass the actual value. So I can just take power table value and give it to a simple variable, but I wonder if I can do it like this. I actually should show it to you a proper way. Okay, first thing you want to do is you want to set up a variable, and this is going to accept the hash from the table hash value. So first thing first, we're going to click on action. It's going to configure my effect elements, and what we're going to say is my hash value variable set value from my power table value. Once this is done, go ahead and run the download of the file and then choose my custom variable. That's it. That's all I really have to do. So now if I click apply, click save, click preview, and then I look up Alicia, for example, and then I say download file, it's just going to go ahead and download it for me like that. If I download this file, it's going to go ahead and download it for me. And if I do this download, it can go ahead and download it for me. So really that simple, that process. But what if you wanted them to allow download all the files in one go rather than individual one? Well, in that case, what you can do is you can set up a button, say download all files. And here you are running a similar sort of get to return all the hash value into another variable. So what you do is you do another one and you call it all hash value. And these are all the hash values for all the files that she already has in this case. You create a new one, call it files, bring all hash, and in the condition here you say first published location ID equals my lookup value, and in the mapping in all hash value you return the hash value. This will return it all comma delimited. Whoops, it's a user action as well. And we want to bring all the records up to 10, and the run criteria is the lookup value is not empty. Alright, so now in this condition here where we had the table running, we can essentially assign the other one too, which will bring all the hash and have it run quite parallel. So let's show you the first step, which is how it brings all the hash. So I'll go Alicia. And if I look in the debug here, you can see these are all the hash values. You can see how they're like comma delimited on the right hand side, one after the other. And then now over here, all I really have to do is click on this one and then basically say, go ahead and run my download and then use all hash value. That's all I really have to do. So if I click save and then go over here again, preview, look up Alicia, and then do download files. Now it's downloading one of 3 like that. So instead of just downloading each one, it downloads all 3 of them in a row. This is a much safer way if you've got these many files that you're actually downloading rather than individual one like this. So those are the 2 variations. Like I said, they go hand in hand, but it's really important you know the difference for the both.